So not all projects have to be complicated and hard. These three will be pretty easy flips. I know, and they're all trending. Bread box, bunny's shelf sitter, and a crock. Yes, not all flips have to be, we have to paint the whole thing, we have to remake the whole thing. Sometimes it's just about adding to it that will make it better and get it to sell. I don't have a Cricut. There's plenty of transfers out there. And this one by IOD actually has the trending bread boxes are trending hard right now. So this is a pretty easy flip. The roll top, you don't have to paint them. They're wanting them natural wood. So we're just going ahead and using one of the IOD's Home Sweet Home transfer. Except I'm not quite ready to flip this. Oh, some of the veneer is coming off. Oh, shoot, right? But if you have the wonderful CA glue, love this stuff, y'all. This on its own is like a super glue, wood glue, but then you have the activator that helps dry it, so you have to tape it off and hold it and get glue all over yourself. This stuff is wonderful. So we're just going to lift this up a little bit. I'm going to run a bead. We're going to put a little bit of the activator. And you got to kind of work fast because 15 seconds this stuff sets up. So just hold, push. Those days of having to hold tape and wait for it to be done, yeah, we don't have to do that anymore. Oh, so much nicer. And it is sandable because you can see there's a little bit of a squish out. Yes, we had to sand it to fix it, but little Howard's Restore should just blend that in just fine. Right? There we go. Other than my sanding dust, we are good to go. So we fixed the little corner on this, and now we're going to add a little bit of detail. Look at the yumminess. They are loving on these right now. We've got the roll top, and then this one has an extra bread, like a cutting board. You can tell that it's always just been a decor piece. There's no cut marks on it or anything. It has never been used. It is beautiful. And you think, why do anything? But what's the topping to the cake is the word bread. So funny. 4 years ago, I'm constantly painting over that, and now they want them. Trends change. So help because my drawer wants to keep shutting on me, and this is the position I need to use it. So we're just going to get a little bit of tape. And we're going to say, please stay closed. At least not opening all the way up. So yes, we have Home Sweet Home. It's a transfer grouping by IOD. I ordered my IOD supplies from the Painted Heirloom. We now have a scan code, so it makes it really easy to watch and shop at the same time, y'all. So this is the Home Sweet Home. And then if you look, it has a bread. It has tea. It has coffee. It has sugar. It has so many cute. It's been out for a little while. So it has a couple different breads. I don't think I'm looking for that bread. I think I'm looking for the black one. Yes, I envisioned the black one on this wood here. get some scissors to cut. Now, really, the other one probably wouldn't look too bad, but when I saw this, and I actually bought this in the antique store, I'm like, oh, that is crying to have the word bread on it. Come home with me, and I have a transfer for you. So now we want to be able to see where everything is. And a lot of times what I will do to measure, let me hold that with my scissors for a second. So I'll take take my ruler at the edge. It's 3. See, like, so this is 3.5. So 3 1/4, 3 1/4. Then we'll get that tape back out, and then I'll just tape off that area, and then tape off that area, so I know that my sides coming in are even, and then deciding, like, okay, so I think that's exactly where I can envision it. Good thing I have scissors here today to help me. And then I'm just going to put another piece straight there. So now this is kind of what it looks like. So I kind of have a template. So when I take my safety backing off, that I can just press it down onto here. So all I need to do is line up my corner here. And I can start pressing it down because your transfer is sticky. So then it looks like that. Each one of the transfers will come with a rubbing tool, and then you just start a rubbing. And then what will happen once you start rubbing and it starts adhering to the object, the paper, the top secure paper, will start to turn chalky, like that. Chalky, cloudy. And sometimes some things it transfers really easy to, and sometimes you gotta put your muscles into it, get it to transfer. And that's just keep it rubbing. And I lift my paper up as I go. That does help, but not too much because you don't want to pull it right up. Now the weird is, like, you want to have this straight, but this wasn't really. So I evened here, this was the top of the sheet, we know. So it won't look like, oh, it's not straight, but it wasn't made to be that way. And then we'll get to the slats after I get it all transferred. I have this all done. I've got it all on there. Not pristine, that's okay. This is older bread box. We want to make it look like it's been worn anyway. Age appropriate. So I'm just making sure everything's down. And I'm going to seal my transfer in before cutting it, because right now it's at a very vulnerable state. If I start to cut, I might start to rip more. So I'm just going to take clear wax to seal in this transfer. So we just have Fusion's clear wax. I'm just making sure that it's cut. And then now that my wax is, I'm just going to spray just a little bit of a top coat just on that breadboard. side of a bookshelf, and this little leg kind of trundles over. Very popular. If you look up the brass version of these, they're going for about $300 average. I kid you not. Yeah, yes. So I picked this one up at a thrift shop for $1. And he is super cute, but I've watched a few in our local antique mall that have been going for like $40 to $50, and it's not selling. They've been there for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one into faux brass. So I'm going to take off the little Made in China sticker. And then we are going to use gold leaf rub and buff. And it's probably going to be a little messy, so I'm going to get some gloves. I'm going to get some gloves on. But as soon as I saw him for only $1, I'm like, okay, I can do that. This one's not ceramic. It's not terribly vintage. And I've been wanting to try making something look brass. Though I assume it's going to take quite a bit of the rough and buff. So I'm just going to pour some out. Luckily, I have a new bottle on hand. Little kit that I bought came with little like rub and buff thingies, but there's a lot of texture to this little guy. So I'm just going to go in with a paintbrush. And we're just going to start painting. Wow, that transferred it into a brass really fast. But yes, it has all those little details in there that we want to make sure we get it. And I just happened to pick up a whole bunch of paintbrushes at an auction, so I'm not too worried about not being able, because a lot of times you can't wash rub and buff out. So yeah. Oh, look at how quick that's doing it. Into all those detailed areas. Going every which way to make sure it's in there, and we're going right over the bow. Her little pink bow. But you just want to make sure that you get it all covered. Well, I thought it was going to take a while. It was going to take a bit. Not like time-wise. It's actually going really fast. But product-wise. But, you know, a little bit of rub and buff goes a long way. And I'm glad that I put gloves on, or I would have the golden touch. It definitely is going to look better in the texture than the flat surface, I think. A little bit more. Sometimes you got to look at like different angles of it and like squish it in from a different angle to make sure you're getting those all little detailed carved areas filled in. Glad I put gloves on. I have antique paste by Pet Art, and in the little crevice areas, to make it look like we just didn't paint this, I'm just going to take a brush. I might still be a little bit on the, I can tell that I am, some of the gold's going on here, but I thought I would just go along the crevices, the detailed areas, and then just give it a little bit of shading. So it just doesn't look like we just rub and buffed the whole thing, which we did, but I didn't want to wait too long that I couldn't blend everything together. So see, it's just bringing out the little, so none with none, and then with a little bit of detail. And And then just adding it in. So I feel like, you know, brass has that feeling of brass, and right now it still fills with all the texture. So I'm going to do a few coats of weather defense on it to seal it all in. I have this crock jar, no writing, no advertising. So I'm going to actually put a IOD stamp on this. First, I'm going to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol, make sure that there's no oils or anything on there that might prevent my stamp from staying. To be using IOD's crockery stamps. These have been around forever. And then we're just going to pick like what would be a good one. Like there's different sizes. Collector of Marmalade. I really like the Frank Cooper. I think I'm going to go ahead and no, I think I might do the classic. The classic, because this one's just a little too big that when it starts to round over. So Frank Cooper or the Marmalade. I think I'm going to do Marmalade. I think I have a few Frank Coopers I've done in my boot. So the easiest way I find is to take some packing tape, use it as your little handles, and you fold that piece of tape out, not all the way. You want a little bit of the sticky to be usable to stick it to the crock. And then I'm going to use StazOn ink because I like how black this comes out when you stamp it. And then we're just going to go ahead and stamp on. Make sure we get her all inked up. Then I'm just going to hold my fingers. Can I get it in here? There we go. Hold my fingers. I'm going to put a piece of that tape. See, this is where that tape comes in handy. Hold so we don't slide. And then the tape holds it. It makes it so nice. To apply even pressure, we'll just take a brayer over a couple times, and so the tape's holding it so it's not sliding on you. And then the same thing, then we just lift it off, and it just makes it so easy to stamp that way, y'all. Now I let this completely dry for hours, and then I will seal this in with Weather Defense, a top coat. Even though it's permanent ink, I just like to make sure. So some Weather Defense, very light mist. So I have this old door that came off something. It still has the hinges. Got nice little aged wood. Though I'm going to paint it and put a transfer on it. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this wood in with some shellac. It's very dry. It's got a little bit of paint on there. A nice jumper's coat on. There's just something about white chippy salvage, so I'm going to go in and mix a batch of Sweet Pickins flour sack. Looks like I already left a scoop in there. Surprise! Oh, that happens. So sweet pick we mix with water, and I want kind of a thicker batch, especially since this is going to be laying flat to help with the chippiness. So you see I only added half the water, and it looks like it's enough at the moment to get everything all mixed in together. I'm going to use some Sweet Pickins beeswax. I don't necessarily want this to stick everywhere, so I'll just run it across the board. A little bit of extra bond here and there for some extra crackling. We'll see if it works or not. I don't know. You never know. In the crackling, because the milk paint will kind of do it on its own. So we'll just go ahead and add here and there. And that should dry clear. So it's dried clear now. Now we can go ahead and paint it. Put in a nice thick coat on. One may not be as easy as the other ones, but it's still trending. You'll see once I get to the transfer. Some things are classic and they just don't go out of style. Okay, we'll just let it dry now. Okay, that did some amazing crackling. So I'm going to seal everything in with some weather defense. You just never know how much crackling is going to do. And now I'm afraid that it's all going to chip off, but it'll be fine. Coat dry. I'm going to go in just at the edges. So one of my favorites from Brocade is the birds on the branch. It's traditional. Everybody loves it. It always sells. So there's 2 pieces of it. 2 pieces. And I'm always looking for something long to put it on, because I just love these little birds. People just love birds. So, and then there's like a little starting point, but look at it, it fits perfectly. Oh, no words, no nothing needed. So I'm just going to use a little piece of tape so I know where I want it to be, and I'm not going to stress of top, bottom, evenness. The thing I want to make sure is I have them overlapping. That way I can keep it off my really chippy part. As always, it comes with a little rubbing tool. I usually always start off by rubbing the whole thing on. I usually frame it, but I thought, you know what, why not make it look like a salvaged piece? Well, it is a salvaged piece. As you're rubbing, because we sealed this in with a top coat, you should be able to pull this up. You get a piece that doesn't want to go down, talk to it nice, rub on it. Some are easier than others. There we go. Rub it, make sure that it's on there. It's just, there's so much detail in it. Okay, so now I got to turn. And my biggest is to make sure that these are kind of matching up. I wasn't really ready for you to go down there yet. Oh well, there you go. Is what it is. Might have left a little bit of transfer. It sticks faster than you think. What's the chances of all these birds actually hanging out together? Oh. You pull up on it and some of the transfer comes with it, just lay it back down and rub it on some more. Have a couple places where mine pre-sticked earlier, but I got a chippy frame going on anyway, area, so it's not like it's any big deal. That's why I like the perfectly imperfect. You don't have to be so stressful. And then to seal it in, we're just going to use some Fusion's clear wax. You have to seal the transfer in with something. And I think to hang it, we're just going to use the hinges. And I have some rusty crusty wire that we salvaged. I think I'm going to wrap it. Just so it has some stability.